to my channel. My name is Hope and I am a photographer and business coach based in Charleston. And this YouTube channel is where I share education for entrepreneurs as well as a peek into my life in the Low Country. But today I'm really excited because this topic is one that I think needs to be talked about way more often in the creative industry. And that is hiring a team and hiring specifically a virtual assistant. Because I think that one of the biggest struggles when hiring a virtual assistant is trying to figure out exactly what tasks for them to take over for your business. Because virtual assistants typically have a plethora of things that they are comfortable doing for other business owners. They can do things from emails to social media to branding to website redesign. They are comfortable doing a lot of different tasks. And so I wanted to help you guys today determine exactly what little tasks a virtual assistant could do in your business. Because if you watched my video about outsourcing editing, then you know that I really believe that business owners are not meant to do everything by themselves. They are meant to have support. They're meant to have a team, and they're meant to be only focusing on the high-level tasks in their business. I believe that the most successful entrepreneurs are the ones that learn this very early on and realize that if they try to maintain doing every single task themselves, they're never going to be able to scale their business because they are constantly doing things like upkeeping emails and upkeeping social media and upkeeping all of these different things when really they should be focusing on content creation and filming courses and sharing social media, Instagram stories, things like that should be the number one priority for successful entrepreneurs. But so many people are caught up in doing every little piece themselves that they completely miss out on the opportunity to do that within their business. So today, I want to break down 5 tasks that my virtual assistant does for me. Her name is Emily. She's incredible. I love her to pieces. And she does so many different things for my business. I could not even cover them in one video if I tried, but I want to break down the 5 things that she did for me kind of at the beginning of working together, and the 5 most helpful things that she does for me. So basically, when she initially reached out to me, she was only offering Pinterest services. She reached out to me and was like, hey, do you need any help with your Pinterest? And I was like, oh girl, I have never touched my Pinterest. So the answer is yes, I do. And so it started because I gave her access to my Pinterest for her to take over pinning things for me, etc. And then from there I was like, hey, can you also do this? Can you also do this? And then I turned into Oprah on one of her favorite things episodes and I was like, you get this job, you get this job, you get this job. And I just kept giving her things to do because she was so good at it and it released so much of my time and freed up so much opportunity for me to focus on the high level things in my business. So we're gonna dive into 5 tasks that she does for me, and hopefully you're gonna find this really freeing and really exciting for the potential to hire somebody in your business to take over admin level tasks. Essentially, the thought process is if it's an admin level task or something that you could pay an intern or pay somebody $7 or $8 an hour to do, it should be something that is outsourced. I obviously pay Emily way more than that, but it is something that should be outsourced. If it's something that can be done by anybody, if it's something anybody could do, you should not be doing it. You should only be doing the high level tasks that only you can do. So first thing that Emily does for me is she is in charge of my Facebook. My most important social media platform that I am most active on is Instagram. And so I spend all of my time on social media, for the most part, on Instagram, which means all of my other social media platforms ideally need somebody else in charge of them. So Emily does quite a few different things for me on Facebook, but she does things like when I share a new blog post about a wedding that I've photographed, she takes those images and shares them on Facebook with the link to the blog post. She also shares albums that lead to the new blog post. She does things like making sure that every comment is responded to. She makes sure all the messages are read or that they go forward to my email if need be. There's so many different things that she does, but her job is essentially just to make sure that my Facebook is up and functioning and that any content that I share on Instagram is also shared on my Facebook platform. And she is so good at it. She keeps up with it so well, way better than I ever could. And I make sure that that audience is served just as well as my Instagram audience. The second thing that she does that has been so wildly helpful to me is that leading up to a wedding day, I send my wedding clients a questionnaire to gather all of the information that I need from them in order to serve them really well on their wedding day. And that includes getting every single one of their wedding vendors. So I get their Instagram, their website link, and their contact information all in one place so that I can share the images with them after the wedding day. But what Emily does is she takes all of those links and all of those Instagrams, and sometimes my clients aren't able to find their Instagram or they don't include it. So Emily finds all of their Instagram profiles and puts them in a caption style that I can use on Instagram so that when I share the sneak peek, I can just copy and paste that list of Instagrams to credit all of the vendors. And she also takes all of the links and formats them for my blog, so I can just copy and paste that in my blog post. And it sounds really small, but if you have ever tried to gather vendor information for dozens of vendors on a wedding day, it takes so much time, and it also serves the vendors and my couples better by allowing me to credit them and provide them with images that then alternatively grow my business because they're marketing for me by sharing those images on their platforms. So this comes full circle in helping my business, but it's also just a task that's really helpful for me to outsource. The third task that Emily does for me, I got a little ahead of myself and already mentioned, and it is Pinterest. I unfortunately just do not have time to manage a Pinterest on top of the other social media accounts that I manage. So what Emily does is she takes everything from my blog and pins it onto Pinterest and creates graphics that are viral worthy and share worthy on Pinterest to be sure that I have traffic coming in there and that those boards are managed and updated regularly with the content that I am in charge of sharing on my blog. The fourth thing that Emily does to me, which only is going to apply to those of you who have an online product or a digital course of some sort, but she handles all of my customer service emails. And this is so wildly helpful because customer service emails come in regularly with people who are struggling to log into their account to access their course, or they did a payment too soon or too late, or they can't find their invoice, or somebody needs a refund or something along those lines. And seeing those emails and having to upkeep those emails is almost impossible. So Emily taking over those emails for me helps to serve those students even better and ensures that they get a very timely response, and also allows me to free up that mental space to focus on the things that I have to do, like making sure that that course content is stellar and that my students' questions are answered in relation to the actual content that I'm teaching. And the fifth thing that Emily does that I want to talk to you guys about today is that she helps me manage my social media notifications. So I am huge on turning off social media notifications on your cell phone. It is impossible to keep up with them, and your brain will never stop if you are constantly seeing Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and Clubhouse and all of these things pop up on your phone. So I turn all of my notifications off, and Emily helps me to maintain and keep up with those notifications. So she helps me to reply to DMs every once in a while. She helps me to reply to comments every once in a while, and she just helps me to make sure that my social media accounts never become overwhelming with hundreds of DM requests that I just haven't even gotten a chance to get to yet. So she manages those notifications for me, lets me know if there's anything really vital that I missed, and that way I know that I can free up that mental space of having to worry about getting a DM or missing an inquiry on Instagram or anything like that, because Emily is in charge of making sure that that is managed. So those are 5 tasks that Emily does for me. Like I said, she does a ton of different things for my business, but those are 5 really helpful, really important tasks that I outsourced at the very beginning. So I'm gonna link a resource below called Outsourcing with Love. My virtual assistant, Emily, actually created this resource to help small business owners find contractors to outsource to in their businesses, and it is amazing. So that's linked below if you want to consider hiring somebody onto your team. But I hope this video was helpful, and I'd love to have you subscribe because I share new education each week. But until next time, bye guys.